Shalom. This week we are reading Parashat Yitro, the fifth Torah portion in the book of Shemot, Exodus. The central event of our portion of Yitro is the giving of the Torah at Mount Sinai, known in Hebrew as Matan Torah and Ma'amad Har Sinai, the Mount Sinai revelation. It's also the central event of the entire Torah and the very foundation of our lives, and the purpose of creation. Indeed, so much so is it the purpose of creation, to the extent that our sages teach that at the time of creation, God conditioned the continued existence of the world upon Israel's acceptance of the Torah. Until the Sinai covenant, in a spiritual sense, the world's foundation was like jello, a wee bit shaky, as the verse indicates, Jeremiah 33 and verse 25. It's a testimony, actually, to this. If it were not for my covenant day and night, I would not have placed the pillars of heaven and earth. And the entire saga of the Exodus from Egypt and all its miracles only transpired for the sake of the giving of the Torah. The first time that Moshe met HaShem, God told him, "And this will be the sign that I sent you when I take out the people from Egypt. You will serve God on this mountain." What is the sign? Rashi explains that the words, "You will serve God on this mountain," explain that the merit for Israel to leave Egypt was Hashem's very big plan that in the future they are going to receive the Torah on this mountain. Thus, the entire going out of Egypt was for the purpose of receiving the Torah. Our Parsha records, on the third day, when it was morning, there was thunder and lightning and a heavy cloud on the mountain, and the sound of the shofar was very powerful, and the entire people that was in the camp shuddered. Moshe brought the people forth from the camp toward God, and they stood at the bottom of the mountain. All of Mount Sinai was smoking because Hashem had descended upon it in the fire. Its smoke ascended like the smoke of the furnace, and the entire mountain shuddered exceedingly. The sound of the shofar grew continually much stronger. Moshe would speak, and God would respond to him with a voice. And after the 10 Commandments, we read, "The entire people saw the thunder and the flames, the sound of the shofar and the smoking mountain. The people saw and trembled and stood from afar." The experience of the giving of the Torah at Mount Sinai is what gives the life of Israel meaning. It's one of the cornerstones of what it means to be a Jew. It is the most significant event in the history of the world since creation. Meaning, both the aspect of the event as history, the understanding that it really took place, as well as the aspect of the divine source, the timeless, unchanging, eternal nature and authority of Torah as the expression of God's will and the transmission of its knowledge from generation to generation. God's gifting of the Torah to Israel and his entering this nation into his covenant with the Torah as their guide demonstrates not only that there is a master to this house, as Abraham suspected and discovered, but that he cares very much for his creation. God's gifting of the Torah to Israel is his wedding gift to his beloved, as is allegorically expressed throughout the Song of Songs. The Creator revealed himself before the eyes of the entire nation of Israel. Our sages teach that the sublime level of prophecy which the entire nation reached was unparalleled. The heavens opened, and man, woman, and child perceived with perfect clarity that God, who has no form and whom no image can portray, is one, and there is nothing else. The spiritual power of this event was so great that our sages relate that all impurity was vanquished, all deformation and illness was healed, and every generation, whoever was ever destined to be born, every soul that would ever in the future be created, all stood together at Mount Sinai. Now, it's been said that the goal of all knowledge is to know that we don't know. Anything, that is. This must be especially true when it comes to knowledge about God. How can we ever say that we know anything at all about him? God is the creator. He brought forth everything into existence through his word from nothing at all. He's endless, all-powerful, and created each and every one of us for the sole purpose of believing in him and knowing him. This belief and knowledge, is the goal of life. It's the first of the 10 Commandments, which are the showcase of Matan Torah in this week's portion of Yitro. "I am HaShem your God, who brought you up out of the land of Egypt from the house of slavery," chapter 20 and verse 2. These words convey that it's a positive commandment to believe in God. It's a commandment that depends on, that can be fulfilled by a thought, and it can be fulfilled anytime. But open up your hearts in the deepest way. When it comes to God, are we talking belief or are we talking knowledge? The great Rambam, Maimonides, in the very beginning of his magnum opus, the Mishnah Torah, in the laws of the foundations of the Torah, he writes, "The foundation of all foundations and the pillar of wisdom is to know that there is a creator." And the renowned Ramchal, Rav Moshe Chaim Litzato, writes in Derech HaShem, the way of God, he writes, every Jew must know and believe that there exists a first being without beginning or end who brought all things into existence and continues to sustain them. This being is God. So, belief or knowledge or both? Rav Hirsch has a bold approach. In his commentary on the Torah, he teaches us that emunah, belief alone, is not the foundation of recognition of HaShem, because belief leaves a place for doubt. In matters of belief, there is always room for disbelief, and it's a matter of personal conviction, or the lack of it. Personal convictions can be real or manufactured to suit one's deep-seated needs, passing fancy, political or social agenda, whatever. But the foundation of our relationship with HaShem and recognition of Him at Sinai is a foundation of solid knowledge, which we gain directly by way of our own senses. The Torah testifies, "You saw that from the heavens I spoke with you." Open up your heart. Speaking of the events of the Exodus from Egypt and of Hashem's bringing the people of Israel close to Him at Mount Sinai, Moshe states, Deuteronomy chapter 4 and verse 35, "For inquire now regarding the early days that preceded you, from the day when God created man on the earth, and from one end of the heaven to the other end of the heaven. Has there ever been anything like this great thing, or has anything like it been heard? Has a people ever heard the voice of God speaking from the midst of the fire as you have heard, and survived? Or has any God come to miraculously take for himself a nation from amidst a nation, with challenges, with signs, and with wonders, and with war, and with a strong hand and an outstretched arm, and with greatly awesome deeds, such as everything that Hashem your God did for you in Egypt before your eyes? You have been shown in order to know that Hashem, He is the God. There is none beside Him." The Torah itself emphasizes this level of solid, acquired knowledge as opposed to belief alone over and over again. This knowledge is something that we have deep within us. It's in our very DNA from being there. It may need to be activated, but it's within our grasp, inside of us. Deuteronomy 4:39, "You shall know this day and take to your heart that Hashem, He is the God on heaven above and on the earth below. There is none other." Deuteronomy 7, verse 9, "You must know that Hashem, your God, He is the God, the faithful God, who safeguards the covenant and the kindness for those who love Him and for those who observe His commandments." Deuteronomy 8 and verse 5, "You should know in your heart that just as a father will chastise his son, so Hashem, your God, will chastise you." Deuteronomy 9, verse 3, "But you know today that Hashem, your God, He crosses before you." Hosea chapter 2 and verse 22, "I will betroth you to me forever, and I will betroth you to me with righteousness, with justice, with kindness, and with mercy, and I will betroth you to me with fidelity, and you will know Hashem." The entire Jewish experience rests on two pillars of truth that are true experience: the Exodus from Egypt and the giving of the Torah. They both stand completely on the elevation of the self and the senses through direct experiential knowledge, thus precluding the possibility of any illusions. The Torah testifies that the eyes of 600,000 Jews saw these things at once, simultaneously, and thus they are more than estimation, or even basic faith, or happy thinking. This wasn't a couple of alleged miracles supposedly performed surreptitiously before a couple of people. They are the realm of knowledge, facts about which no doubt exists. These events are as certain as our own existence and the existence of the external, tangible world, and thus they are our benchmark and cornerstone for all knowledge and truth. Open up your heart in the deepest way. I'm fond over the years of discussing the phenomena known as synesthesia, found in our Parsha, as reflected by the verse, chapter 20 and verse 15. The entire people saw the thunder and the flames, the sound of the shofar and the smoking mountain. Synesthesia is defined as a condition in which someone experiences things through their senses in an unusual way, for example, by experiencing a color or a sound. Now, I've usually explained this as a sort of supersensory experience, that the experience of Sinai was so powerful and comprehensive, this meeting with the divine and the pure prophetic inspiration, that the senses were uplifted beyond their borders and no longer conveyed, contained, or limited reality according to expectation, but rather as it really is. But now, based on our distinction between belief and knowledge, I feel that I have a deeper understanding of what the Torah is conveying here. This synesthesia describes a sort of super knowledge, a knowledge of the reality of HaShem so total and so clear that it could not be compartmentalized. It was total, inclusive, comprehensive, acquired knowledge, so comprehensive that it transcended any previous experience and transcended the limitations of the physical senses. When God gave Israel the Torah, Israel's famous national collective response, which appears in Parashat Mishpatim, a little bit further, Exodus chapter 24 and verse 7, was Na'aseh v'nishma. We will do and we will obey, meaning we will perform your will above all else. First and foremost, whether we understand or not, ours is to obey you. First we do, later we can try our best to understand. But we pledge to obey even if we do not understand. The Midrash relates that God himself, as it were, was shocked that Israel used this response, a secret formula known to the ministering angels. How did they know to say such a thing? From what wellsprings did such a response emanate? But the Torah wasn't given to angels. It was given to man, because it's all about this world, so that this world should become a place for the divine presence. Maybe Israel's deep, intuitive response also reflects the level of this super knowledge that the nation acquired through their first-hand experience. Our worldview emanates from the Torah. The laws of the life of Israel are forever. The living word of HaShem that resonates within the Torah is not of the past, but flows through our veins today, living with us in the present, and it's the hope of the future for all humanity. This is the whole issue that faces us today. Is this a thing of the past or eternal? Is it divine or is it man-made? Is it old-fashioned to hold on to these beliefs? Perhaps this is the time to address those who feel distance from the Torah, alienated from its teachings, to those who feel that it's antiquated, outdated, that it must be adapted to suit our needs and our own agenda. The Torah, which governs over the nation of Israel and which is the spiritual foundation of our lives, is not a thing of our own creation. Judaism is the only religion which is not man-made. It wasn't created by people, it was gifted to the people. The opposition that some show is itself the greatest proof of its divine origin. And one more thing about knowledge. What is popularly defined as the difference between wisdom and knowledge. Knowledge is about facts that we acquire through study, research, investigation, observation, or in the case of Sinai, experience. Wisdom is the ability to discern which aspects of that knowledge are applicable to our lives. King David informs us in his Psalm 111 and verse 10, the beginning of wisdom is the fear of God.